Money is a taboo topic, at least in American companies, and I imagine other places. It's always hidden and obscured. It's against maybe literally the rules and the policy for HR. And this becomes an issue when you're looking to transform how your organization works. Now, think about it. You're going to your developers and operations people, and what you're essentially telling them when you want to shift from a project to a product way of doing things is their job is changing. They're taking on more responsibility. They're being asked to do more. They're being asked to do something brand new. It's this more responsibility that's key to what's going on here. If you think about it, if you're giving them autonomy, they're owning more of that software. They take on a huge amount of risk when things go wrong. Sure, we're trying to shift this idea that failure is bad and it's actually part of learning. And going through that small batch cycle where you're learning and experimenting is a key to what you want to do here. But still, they are going to be failing. Things are not going to work out well. And so they are taking on more of that responsibility that was spread out and mildly obscured in a bunch of different process and governance, but also in the management layers. Part of the reason why management and executives get paid so much more than other people is because they are generally taking on the risk that comes with failure and doing new things. However, again, you're shifting down that risk to people, so you need to think about how you should be changing your compensation around. Also, I'm a big fan of saying that anytime you get an award or you get some sort of recognition, if it's just a piece of paper or a gold star, it's not really anything. And that money is actually the ultimate thing that you reward people with to motivate them. That's why they're working. They're not just working there because they need a place to go during the day. So another issue that's going to come up immediately is that once you set up these new teams where people are equal, you're using pairing to spread that knowledge out, and you're even rotating people in and out. It's a very real effect that people are more on equal footing. The contribution that any individual has should level off, right? There shouldn't be that many individuals who are so much more valuable, bring so much value to the company. Otherwise, you're not quite doing it right. You're still in this kind of like tent pole of value, this fallacy of a 10x developer. So you're purposely building a system where the 12 people on the team are on equal footing and are contributing as a team. So if you're compensating those people differently, that doesn't work. Just put yourself in that mindset. If all of your peers are bringing in the same amount of revenue and you're getting paid less than one of your peers, you probably think that's terrible as well. When you're asking people to change their jobs, to take on more risk, obviously one of the things you're going to need to look at is compensation. You're going to have to get over this taboo of looking at it, and it's going to be difficult. It's such a foundational part of the way that companies work that you don't talk about this and you hide it and you make it obscure, that it's a very difficult thing to get over. Now, one thing, again, that is going to come up quickly and that is, I wouldn't say easy, but it's something that you're going to need to look at is this other common notion that we have that as an individual contributor, you very quickly reach a ceiling, right? Like you become a senior or a principal or something, and it is nicer to be paid more, but there's no more career ladder unless you go over to being management. And this is clearly not cool. What you need to have, if you're thinking about a product team, you're going to have individuals. You can't have a bunch of managers because they wanted to advance their career and get paid more. So you're going to have to think about if you don't have a parallel track for individual contributors, when you're taking on this product way of doing things, you're going to need to create that track. Because if you remember, as executives are always complaining, it's really hard to hire people. And if you get these really good people, you've trained up, they're helping your business out by doing a product-based thing. Once they reach the ceiling, the only way they're going to make more money and advance their career is to leave, and they will. So really think about getting through this taboo of money, because chances are in the project way that you're doing things, there's a completely different, maybe acceptable way that you've decided how to pay people, compensate them, the career ladder that they're using. But then when you move over to a product way of doing things, the way that people think about and react and the way that they generally should be compensated is going to change because they're taking on more risk, more responsibility, and they're bringing more business value to people than the way that you previously thought about that. If you want to see the archives for the show here, you can go over to tanzutalk.com, find them all there. Just as a small thing, we've got the SpringOne platform coming up. It's going to be September 1st and 2nd, and the call for papers has opened up. And if you're interested in topics like these and you have experience with them, I help select talks for that track, for that kind of stuff. And it'd be great if you submitted a talk about your experience here in managing the meatware of stuff. So if you go to tanzutalk.com, you can find a link to that, and we'll see everyone else next time. Bye-bye.